Welcome to Office Portal. Today we are going to discuss about important salary component called House Rental Allowance. In short, we call it HRA. What is House Rental Allowance or HRA component? House Rental Allowance is another important salary component in the salary CTC structure, right? So after basic, it is the second important CTC component. Unlike basic, HRA is not fully taxable, so there is a exemption categories applied in the HRA. The main reason for availing HRA allowance is to get a tax exemption against the actual rent paid by the salaried employee. In other words, HRA allowance is a relief to salaried employees for availing a tax exemption in the taxable income against the actual rent payments they have incurred or paid during that financial year. But the HRA allowance is not fully exempted, so there is a three conditions applied, and as it follows the concept of expenses paid, incurred versus the allowance received. Best way to arrive the HRA component. With this example, we can just give you an idea how to arrive a best HRA component. The HRA component is always linked with the basic salary. So to arrive a best HRA, we need to arrive also a best basic. In an annual CTC, we can actually have a basic as 50% as a best practice, and out of the basic, we can take 50% for the HRA in case of metro and 40% in case of non-metro. So in this annual CTC of 8,40,000 of monthly gross 70,000, we have taken basic as 50% of CTC, which is 4,20,000, and out of the basic we have taken 50% for HRA for non-metro, which is 2,10,000. In other words, the HRA is 25% of CTC. So the monthly calculation was given. The same will be differ if it's a 40% of basic for a non-metro city. Let's see why this metro or non-metro is considered, because it's all basically the Income Tax Act gives the exemptions category. Let's see in brief and further. How's the HRA exemption is calculated? There's a formula for calculating HRA exemption. So this is the formula here. So as per the IT Act, out of the following three calculations or conditions, the least amount will be considered for the HRA exemption. And those are: first, the actual rent paid minus the 10% of basic salary; second, actual HRA allowance received; third is 50% of basic salary in case of metro and 40% of basic salary in case of a non-metro. If you look at the three conditions in our calculation, both second and third will be same amount, because we follow the industry practice or the standard practice of taking 50% of basic salary for a metro city. So the HRA allowance will be same, and calculation criteria will also be the same for second and third. So this is followed in the most of the companies for calculation of HRA. The same standard practice is also followed in Office Portal for arriving the HRA allowance. It can be followed, and you can also have a different calculation method also. So Office Portal is flexible. The same salary details have been configured for one of our employee in Office Portal, a demo account. The employee name is Kalai Shelvi. So in the salary details, I have actually cloned in or copied the same CTC salary CTC for this employee of 8,40,000, which is 50% of basic 4,20,000 annually, and HRA is 2,10,000 annually, and the rest of the components parts for the annual CTC like conveyance fixed and fixed allowances. So this is the CTC salary CTC of this employee. And after having this CTC, the employee must declare the IT declaration in the beginning of the year to avail a tax exemption. They can choose a old tax regime or new tax regime. In case of they have declarations, they can choose old tax regime. If they don't have declaration, the new tax regime will be chosen by default in Office Portal. So here, this employee is paying 20,000 monthly rent, which is 2,40,000 annually. So she wants to get the exemption, and she chooses old tax regime and she had declared that from 23 to 24 financial year she is residing in Mumbai, and since the amount is annually more than 1 lakh, she also mentioned her landlord number and the PAN number. So these are dummy, or you can see a sample data which I have taken for the calculation method. Alright, so this is the declaration we have given for the HRA exemption. So the allowance is 2,10,000, the rent expenses paid is 2,40,000. So HRA exemption calculator income tax is taken for reference. So as per this we have given all the amounts. So annual basic is 4,20,000, annual HRA allowance received is 2,10,000, which is 50% of this, but the expenses incurred is 2,40,000. So I have marked ticked here for the metro city because I assume this employee is living in Mumbai, so it's a metro. I have taken 50% of basic for calculation purpose. So the maximum exemption one can avail with this calculation is 1,98,000. So out of 2,10,000, 1,98,000 will be removed, and remaining 12,000 will be included for tax calculation purpose. So you can see actual rent paid minus 10% of basic, which is actual rent is 2,40,000. 10% of basics 42,000. So if you reduce 2,40,000 minus 42, which is 1,98,000. So that is first amount. The rest two amounts are 2,10,000, 2,10,000. So the least is 1,98,000. So this is taken for its exemption purpose. So this is how the tax calculator will be helpful for you to compare the data. So for this employee HLV, TDS calculation is done, and based on the TDS calculation sheet, the maximum exemption of 1,98,000 is given under the same as per the IT rule in the Office portal. You can also have a preview of the payslip format in Office portal, the component wise breakup and the tax declarations. Everything is designed in here. And how the HRA earning component can be configured in Office portal is also given a snapshot. So you can have a percentage of basic, you can give a 50%, or you can reduce to 40% also, and you can also change to percentage of gross or flat method also. So it is very flexible. So by default HRA is not included for PF calculation, so that is removed. It is included for ESA calculation. So if the employee is lesser by 21,000 in gross salary, so he will be included for ESA calculation. So this is the standard practice which we follow in the Office portal. So thank you for watching this video. We'll come up with more interesting components videos. Thanks again.